Anything can happen. I think that's one of the beauties of this event, really, and having it being the round robin event. There's so much relying on other people's results as well.
Yeah, well, we both know, Corinne, winning in darts is a high pressure situation, is hard enough, but when you've got to win by a certain scoreline, particularly makes the early parts really. Perez has started brightly here. Chance for a potential 14 dart leg. That can sometimes prove awkward. A routine victory. Think again. That is a breaker throw for Christian. Oh.
Well, you can hear the crowds getting behind Simon now as well with the Aussie, Aussie, Aussie chant.
It just hasn't started here. Bit of prize money from a few years ago as well, a semi-finalist. He's actually the only semi-finalist from 2 years ago that's qualified. The other three, Josie De Souza went on and won the title, James Wade, all not here. So they're dropping some prize money. And Simon Whitlock will be.
Yeah, and I was going to say that would be playing heavily on his mind, because let's be realistic, this event has a really high importance on his career and where he's going to by defending his place in the 2020 event.
Yeah, and he is, though, one of the masters at stopping a slide. Just when you think Simon Whitlock is winding down, we thought that 2 years ago. He got in the Grand Prix, got to the semi-finals, semi-final of the Grand Slam. He had a good run at the match play, and he needs something like that again. And it might be here where it inspires him just to kick himself back into action, because he's got the ability. There it is, first match, Simon Whitlock.
I will say he does have a never give up attitude, and he 100.
He really believes in himself and always craving perfection, fiddling with stems, flights, points, barrels, springs on the stems. Simon Whitlock will try anything and needs to get himself back in this match here.
48. Christian, you require 121.
Very gettable. Got to stay in the 11 segment. Oh, just overcommitted to the treble, didn't he?
Those single numbers are the hardest ones to hit. I don't know how many times we've talked about those kind of things.
Whitlock to level for an instant break back. This would settle him down. Oh, and this is edgy from Simon Whitlock, but Perez is playing well. And a chance for the two-leg lead here. That is pretty clinical. 15 dart break followed by a 16 dart hold. This is a good start from Christian Perez, and this already is a big leg for Simon Whitlock.
You feel he really needs to win this, because coming back from 3-0 is difficult enough, but also with Perez getting a third leg, it takes away the possibility of Simon guaranteeing himself through the group.
Whitlock still in second place, down on -2
100.
on legs. So it's early days, and there's still the Sulevic-Noppert game in this group to come, but if Whitlock wants to guarantee his place in the last 16, he needs 5 consecutive legs. Otherwise, he's going to have to wait for the outcome of the Danny Noppert-Mensur Suljovic game. Who'd have thought it? Christian Perez might put himself in the... Well, he's putting himself in the mix.
It's a funny old game.
60.
Well, if we're both being honest, Colin, we probably thought we've been talking about Simon Whitlock, Danny Noppert-Mensur Suljovic in the back room, and we haven't, even though we knew Christian Perez had a chance, we haven't really thought it'd be realistic and He's made a good start here, but Simon Whitlock with his second max signs, he's starting to settle.
I think if once he hits that first double, that really will settle him, but he just needs to be able to do that first.
Well, he should win this leg, shouldn't he? A comfortable leg. And he has missed doubles, but he's going to get a few at him here if he needs him. He'll like to clean out this 81, 2 darts, 11 darter, and then attack the Perez throw, but plenty of time for Whitlock here. It's okay. 41 leaves the tops. And Perez way back in this leg. And Whitlock should get a foothold in this tie.
98. Simon, you've acquired 40. Game from the third leg.
Really good from Whitlock.
Whitlock.
And that's just what he needed. Because panic would have set in. Whitlock now on the board, and can he go on and get the result he needs? Like I said, needs the next 4 to guarantee, otherwise he'll have to wait for the outcome of the next match.
100.
Whitlock booked his place in the Grand Slam by winning the World Cup with Damon Heta, and I'm sure you've been asked many a time, Corin, but what sort of impact has that made back home in Australia? Because they've been close, and we maybe thought Whitlock had missed his chance, hadn't he? But this year was a really inspired performance by the pair of them.
Yeah, it's absolutely great, and it gives a lot of good exposure and publicity for darts back home in Australia, even though there is a lot that goes on there. But when something happens of that kind of magnitude, it really does help the sport back home, which is what's needed. It gives it the exposure that it does. I think I've even heard him say that that's one of his proudest moments in darts, is being able to lift that World Cup trophy.
Yeah, it was fantastic, wasn't it? And he deserves it, Simon Whitlock. And ever present at the World Cup. Him and Damon will be aiming to defend that next year. Damon Heta's still in the event. He plays Johnny Clayton tomorrow night. But he left it late last night. Then he 4-1 down, survived some match starts and a miscount to get himself in the picture. But he'll have to beat Johnny Clayton to progress. But still in there fighting, and so is Simon Whitlock. And he's starting to find that treble 20 bed now. 3 maximums, all come in the last 3 legs. The average creeping up to 103.5. It's good from Simon, a second consecutive leg that he's on 81 after 9 darts.
55.
Well, he's going to have a few darts off this 81 if he needs them, with Perez back there in the 200s.
Double 16.
49.
Lucky. But it's a good response from Simon. I was slightly concerned for him after the first couple of legs, but has kicked himself into action. Good from Whitlock. 8 180s in the tournament as well.
140. Simon, you require 32. Games from the fourth leg.
Really good from Whitlock. Back-to-back 13 dart legs to level up this match.
5th leg, Simon 2 for 5th.
And if there was any panicking,
Game on.
it hasn't been illustrated. Simon Whitlock, it's took a bit of pressure to get him to find his best darts. Here he goes again, just trying to force it through, but looking settled, looking more like the Simon Whitlock that played Mensur Suljovic on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. I've not really taken notice as to whether he's still limping a lot with his heel injury that he's got, because he has talked about that quite openly as well.
He said to me on Saturday it was causing him grief, but he also said, you don't... But I followed him down the corridor, obviously, this game, and he seemed to be moving quite freely, and look, it ain't doing him any harm, is it? 4 180s now from Simon Whitlock. Look at the average. Perez looking to stack up on top.
60. Simon, you require 121.
Just having a little look at the Perez throw, and the follow through. His hand does all sorts, doesn't it? But it's been effective in this match.
65.
Again, though, Corin, after 9 darts in the previous 2 legs, he was on 81. He's at 12 darts, 56. This is a good passage of play from Simon Whitlock.
Yeah, I think if he's able to put this leg away, he's going to be feeling a lot more comfortable and confident to be able to take out the match from here in.
Clinical from Simon, and he really enjoyed that leg, didn't he?
Christian to throw first.
From going 2-0 down, 40 darts later, Simon Whitlock's 3-2 up. 50% on the doubles. This is the leg, Corin. If he can get that second break, he can throw, obviously, for the match and a place in the last 16. And if he's to come runner-up in this group, it'll be Raymond van Barneveld in the next round.
60.
If he can get top, it's the winner of Gedwin Price or Dave Chisnell.
Wow, both tough matches though, aren't they? But I don't really think you're going to find many easy matches in the last 16.
No, definitely not. But get yourself there, you're in with a chance. You kind and then the players really settle into that format. Slightly longer, first to 10 in the round of 16, and it really increases. First to 16 throughout then.
86.
Perez has started off great in this leg. He really is quite good on his own throw, very strong.
His average as well, 96. It's the best we've seen from Christian Perez. Here he goes again. And look, he still can't find that first max, but that's his 8th 140.
$135. Christian, you require 87.
Looks like we're going to go level. 6 darts of this for Christian Perez. A sensible play.
55.
Good set-up play. Sometimes the players with the soft tip background will just go for the ball, but he's done the right thing there. Simon Whitlock back on 220, so we should be going 3 apiece.
$45. Christian, you require 32.
Well, they're still going to have another 6 from here to finish off this 32 with that last dart there from Simon.
Game shot in the
Gets
sixth
it.
leg.
Good leg from Perez. Just reminding Simon Whitlock he's not done yet. This is a really good match. Identical finishing stats. 4 points in the averages. There we see. You don't get a great deal from Christian Perez in terms of emotion, but
$57. $55.
Looks like Simon's 60s have suddenly gone missing.
yeah, well, I think he was hoping when he went 3-2 up it would break the spirit of Christian Perez, but it really hasn't, has it? It was a good leg from Perez.
134.
It's a good visit, and there we see Perez. Of Simon Whitlock. If he wins the next 2 legs, he'd go to -2, but as would Simon Whitlock, and courtesy of beating Simon Whitlock, he'd go above him. This group is really complicated, but it's fascinating as well.
I'm glad you know what's going on, Mark, because I think I would get lost pretty quickly.
94.
I just hope I'm right. Christian Perez is forcing the issue here.
96.
Oh, just shy of that treble 20, which obviously would have left him with the 170. So he's given Perez the opportunity here to have first crack at a finish.
Could do with a treble though. And it wasn't a good guide for him, but trying to force it through. He likes to be below the treble and work his way up. And Whitlock find a big visit. Look at this. He'll stay there, will he? Yes, and that is max number 5. And Whitlock, he's never really got a preference with doubles, has he? That's why I thought he'd stay there. And what a time for Simon Whitlock. It looked like it was getting a bit edgy for him. Back-to-back 60s. Whitlock to hit the front again. Double 15 straight for him. And there it is, brilliant. 210 in 4 darts. Simon Whitlock one away. Can confirm his place in the round of 16 with a 5-3 victory, but if we put him.
He'd probably find that a lot more edgy sitting back to watch the next game than what he's feeling right now with this one.
I've had it before. It's awful. You're just sitting around and I think I was in a group with James Wade, and there we see. Look how it can change. It was looking pretty sketchy for Simon Whitlock a couple of minutes ago, wasn't it? But
yeah, did I hear you saying earlier, Mark, that you were actually in a 9-dart shootout?
I've done it all here, Corin. I've been in 2 of them. I've won 1, lost 1. I've gone through with 1 win, gone out with 2 wins. Yeah, the 9-dart playoff. Really, we don't tend to see them now because it's got to be sort of tied on averages and everything, but 5 in total in the Grand Slam. Chance of seeing 1 are very slim. And Simon Whitlock, maximum number 6, 11 for the tournament, and is on his way to victory here after he's had a bit of a scare. Got to finish the job still, but he put himself in a great position.
Well,
we know he's not going to go for a 180 this time. Actually, he probably really wants to hit a treble.
22.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, a 2 treble shot from Perez here could potentially put him first to a finish.
Yeah,
it would be a big ask,
yeah,
but
I think a 140 is not going to worry Simon Whitlock too much, is it? You called it, Corin. And there it is. He's down to 156, but Whitlock will be quietly confident. He's got the 2 visits. He obviously needs the 2 visits. Setup play's got to be better. Already it's better.
it's almost like he wasn't expecting to hit that 57 then.
Well, it's thrown him out, hasn't it? And that rarely happens with Simon Whitlock. He's one of the best counts in the game. There we go. The double's a double.
Well, you know, I know he loves 26. He loves double 13.
Christian Perez to keep himself in the match. Unfortunately can't progress now, Christian, but can he go out on a high? Well, there's the pressure, but Simon Whitlock for a place in, well, I say for a victory, not guaranteed the last 16, getting ahead of myself, but to do his bit. And Whitlock is there. There's the roar. He thinks he's done enough, but he hasn't just yet. He defeats Christian Perez. He was in a spot of bother in that 7th leg of 180. Oh, got him back in the leg. But for Christian Perez, 3 defeats, but lots of positives for him. Simon Whitlock wins by 5 legs to 3. Not yet through to the last 16. We await the result of the Danny Noppert and Mensur Suljovic. That's coming up next, but confirmation, Whitlock's on 4 points and he wins by 5 legs to 3.